Hello, everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening. Where, yes, we're going to talk about how you can still get grants. I'm going to move up a little bit closer. There we go. How you can still get grants for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. Yes, it is true. Grants are actually increasing in many different sectors. So you've come to the right place. As you come in, say hello to me. My name is Linda Peavy. I am in the land not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. So let me know what city and state you are coming in from. Put it into the chat and let me know where you are coming in from. We're going to start in a few minutes, but first say hello to me. I see you coming in. So say hello. Say hello, say hello. Let me know what city and state you're coming in from. Give that city and that state a shout out. Hello, Megan from Columbia. South Carolina, and Willie is coming in from Richmond, Virginia. I've been to both of those places. That's on my bucket list, by the way, to visit all 50 states. And I've managed to cover about 40 of them. So I have 10 to go. I've certainly been to beautiful Richmond and beautiful Columbia. Look at Janice coming in from Ohio, Akron. That's where my alma mater is, the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. All right. Who else is here with us? I'm going to give it a couple more minutes and then I'm going to get started because I do have a lot of information to share with you. So don't be shy as you come in. Excuse me, as you come in. Give that city and that state a shout out, a shout out. I'm going to take just a little bit of water here. All right, I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. And as I always say, when I share my screen, it's like, come on through, technology, come through. Come through, come through. All right. Let me get everything, make sure everything is set up here. And I'm going to share my screen. There we go. And get started. Let me make sure everybody's in the right place. So this is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. This is a masterclass at 7 o'clock. We were live at noon, by the way. And we had so many great questions at noon, and I know we're going to have a good time tonight. So let's get started. All right. A little bit of background information about me. Yes, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million in grants and grant funding. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, my undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And for the past 16 years, yes, I have served as a professional grant writer with my company, Lapov Consulting, which this is year 17. I am celebrating. And now I teach. I teach grant writing all over the country for many different organizations, your smaller companies, your private nonprofits. I also give keynote presentations all about funding and grants. And I also teach for some of the major organizations too. I've taught for Goldman Sachs and the Urban League and the National Association of Women Business Owners and many other organizations. And I am glad to be here tonight. I'm also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. And I'm a graduate of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program as well. All right. Now, I have a business, but I used to lead a nonprofit, so I've been in both spaces. So let me know right now into the chat. What is your organization? Are you a for-profit or are you a nonprofit? And maybe you're both, because I'm finding that a lot of for-profits are starting nonprofits. So maybe you are both. All right. Let me know in the chat. Nonprofit. For-profit. All right, all right, all right. For-profit. Okay, who else? Who else is with us? Who else is with us? Let's see, let's see, let's see. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Who else? Who else? You can say it, don't be shy. Let me know, let me know. We've got Willie, profit. Janice has a nonprofit. Megan has a for-profit. You're in the right place. Ah, golf club. Is that a golf course or a golf club? You have a club for people who are interested in golf? Had to get that out of my mouth. Let's see. Okay, a golf club. All right, all right, all right. You're in the right place because there are grants for both. There are grants for nonprofits and there are grants for for-profits. All right, so you've come to the right place. All right, so buckle up. Let's get started. Now, how did I get here? I used to be an executive publisher in Pennsylvania many years ago. I was there for about 10 years and I got hurt. When I got hurt, I had to move back home to Cleveland, literally came home in a wheelchair. And when I moved back home, I went from a job where I was flying all over the world to moving everything I own into a storage unit in Cleveland, Ohio. Because when I came back home, I got hurt. I got hurt in Pennsylvania. And when I came back home, I had to move in with my sister. And it took me 2 years to recuperate. And at the end of those 2 years, I couldn't find a job because my experience was in professional publishing in Pennsylvania. And if you know anything about Cleveland, you know it is not like the publishing mecca of the United States. So I couldn't find a job. And that's when I started Lepov Consulting. It's been 17 years. I haven't looked back. Well, one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of this nonprofit. And I don't think I was there 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary. Now, people, you ought to know I like to keep it real. I like to keep it real. I had never seen a grant before. I had no knowledge of grants. And I'm being asked to write a grant to pay for my salary, to pay for my job. I was mortified. But you know what? I did it. I did it. I researched that grant. I wrote that grant. I won that grant. And it let me know what you can do with grant funding, right? Some of you, and I know because I hear from you, are tired of using your own money to fund your organization, to fund your dreams, whether it's a nonprofit or a small business. You're tired of having to dig in that pocketbook. Or you're tired of wearing all 20 hats. You're tired of doing it all yourself. You have no help. You know that grant money can pay for staff. Grant money can pay for contractors. Grant money can get you help. Why not use somebody else's funding to help with your organization, right? You don't pay grants back. Why not use someone else's funding? You can do this, right? I learned that absolutely you can win grants with zero experience. I had zero experience, nada, nothing. And I was able to win grants. And you can do the same. All right? All right. Now, what else will we talk about today? I'm going to show you what's going on in the current grant landscape. Give you some grant basics. Show you how do you prepare to apply for grants. This is where so many organizations get it wrong. And then what do you write in the application? How do you write the application so that you're getting noticed? Grant applications are competitive. And then I'm going to show you how to conduct grant research so that you're finding the right organizations that want to give you funding. And then don't go anywhere because at the end, we're going to do a Q&A. Speaking of Q&A, drop those questions in either the Q&A box or the webinar chat, either one. So you should see a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, or you can drop your questions into the webinar chat. And I will answer all of them at the end. And then I want to show you a list of grants that's still available for you as a Black organization. So you can't believe everything you see on TV or read in the media about, oh, there are no grants. My clients are getting grants every day. My students are getting grants, winning six-figure grants, Black organizations winning six-figure grants every day. You have to know where to look, and how to write this application. And that's what we'll talk about today. And then I have a bonus surprise for you at the end. Now, why are we even here? We are here because we as Black leaders of organization need access to funding. And it shouldn't always be about loans. Are you as tired as I am of hearing about loans? We want grant money because you don't pay grant money back. And let me say this to all of you, you can do this. You can write grants. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not sitting in some corner writing some 500-page document. No. That's what I used to do, by the way. A lot of these grant applications are 2 and 3 pages. So you can do this, but what you must understand is that there is a process to winning. There's a process to winning. And that's what I'm going to show you today. And it's about more than what you write in the application. I'm going to say that again. It is about more than what you write in the application. That's what I'm going to show you. That's what I've learned after having won almost $18 million. But let's talk about what's going on with grants. You know that the federal grants program has basically been shut down. There are still some federal grants available, but for the most part, federal grants have been either rescinded or frozen or cut. But here's what I need for you to know. Federal grants do not equal all grants. There are thousands and thousands of grants still available every single day. And people that look like you are getting them every single day. Where are they coming from? They're coming from your private, community, family, and corporate foundations because they still exist. They're still giving out billions of dollars in grants to nonprofits and small businesses. So be encouraged. This money is still available. And here is an opportunity. There are 2 opportunities that exist for you right now. One, because there's this misnomer that there are no grants, there are fewer people applying for these grants, which means a little less competition, which means you are going to swoop in and start applying for these grants. Next, because the federal funding has been cut, it is your local and corporate and family and community foundations that are doing what they're actually increasing their grants. They're increasing their grant funding to try to fill in the gaps caused by the federal cuts. Another opportunity for you to swoop in and start applying for these grants. But look inward, look at your local community foundations, look at your local corporations. That's opportunity number 2 that didn't even exist last year, right? Sometimes you got to make lemonade out of lemons. There's more grant money being provided by these organizations right now. All right. Now, also, what I want you to do is to diversify your funding. Don't put all those eggs in one basket, especially now that they're $12 a dozen. Yes, apply for grants, but you should also be applying, many of you, for sponsorships. They're easier to get. Or donations or corporate contracts. And by the way, as a small business, you can get a corporate contract. Or your donor advisory funds, funds that are restricted for a particular cause, but you don't know about them. If you don't meet with the community foundations, oh, they exist in the billions of dollars. But here's some other good news. Again, those corporate and private foundations, they are literally stepping in to cover the gaps left by the federal cuts. More money for you available. And regardless of what you are seeing in the media, your state and local governments have grant funding because not all of their grants are dependent upon federal funding. A lot of these states and local municipalities raise their own money. Just a couple of weeks ago, I heard about a $30 million grant from the state of Ohio and a $20 million grant from the state of Michigan. Oh, these grants are available. You need to place your organization in a position to get them. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know it covers minorities, women of any ethnicity, veterans, the disabled. But what about all of these foundations that serve these communities? They want to keep serving these communities, but they also don't want to feel the wrath coming from the White House because you can't use DEI. But guess what? They're not changing who they serve. They're just tweaking the language. So instead of DEI, they're using other language so that they can still continue to serve who they want to serve, regardless of what's being decided on the federal level. And that's what you're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do it in a moment. But first, again, be encouraged because you have some organizations like the Ford Foundation and the Kellogg Foundation. They are doubling down on their efforts to fund DEI. You go to their websites, they proudly proclaim, we fund in the area of racial equity. And then some of your newer foundations like Google, Apple, Delta, Costco, they are absolutely committed to DEI, but they know they can't use those terms now. So they're using other language so that they can still serve these communities and not feel the wrath coming out of the White House. And this is exactly what you're going to do. It's called quiet DEI. It's coded language, right? So you're going to take out ethnicity and gender like Black and women. You're going to place there the conditions or the issues that you want to overcome, knowing at the same time, people know who you're talking about. Let me show you how it's done. Let's say you have a program where you offer youth development opportunities for Black boys. You don't change who you serve. You continue to serve Black boys. Now you're going to tweak how you describe who you serve. Because now you're going to say, we provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys. Wink, wink, right? Serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities. Supporting boys from communities designated as high need or underrepresented in STEM. You're still serving Black boys. You're tweaking the language a bit, right? Same issue for women. Let's say you provide employment and career coaching for women. Again, you don't change who you serve, you change how you describe who you serve. Now you might say, our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement or providing career development services tailored to those who experience workforce challenges due to what? Caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, and systemic inequities. Women. This is very important for you to know. So let me know if you get this. Give me a yes in the chat. Let me know if you get what I'm doing here, because this is what you're going to have to do. Now, there will be some foundations where you don't have to change a syllable as to how you describe who you are serving, but there will be others where you have to tweak this language, because at the end of the day, your goal is to do what? To get this grant money, right? Even if you have to tweak that language. Megan says she works in federal grants in this madness right now. I know it is. I know it is. But there's a way around this. There's a way around this, because Black organizations, those who are my clients, they're getting grant money every day, 6-figure grants. Black organizations they're serving Black organizations. There's a way around this, and this is part of it. So this is very important for you to know. Now let's go back to grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back. If you are a nonprofit, get your 501c3. That is going to be critical for you. That's your tax exempt designation that is provided by the IRS. Make sure you're looking in the chat for links. I'm putting important links in the chat. So it only takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get your 501c3 right now. So get your 501c3 if you have a nonprofit. Be sure you're also dropping your questions into the chat or the GPA. I'm sorry, or the chat box or the webinar chat or the Q&A box. Either one. I'll get to them all at the end. Now, from this point forward, I'm talking to all of you, small businesses and nonprofits. All right? Look at this slide here. Excuse me, look at this slide. This is your grant annual funding. This is how much grant money is being given out every year, $189 billion. And that number is from 2023. That's the latest number. It's expected to increase for 2024. Look at this slide. This money is coming from only foundations and corporations. Do you see federal money anywhere on this slide? No. This money is being given out every single day. What are you going to do to place yourself in a position to get it? And I want you to focus on the number 189 billion, but don't be intimidated. A lot of people look at these huge numbers and they think, oh, Linda, there's no way I can get any of this money. That's why when you see these numbers, I want you to do one thing. Same thing I want you to do right now in the chat. I want you to put into this chat, all of you, right? I just need a little bit. That's what I want you to write into the chat, because when you see these numbers, I want you to think, I just need a little bit. You just need a little bit of $189 billion, right? You don't need it all. You're not trying to get all the money. You just need what you need. So I want you to think about this. That's right. That's right, Janice. I just need a little bit. I'm going to give you those sites later on, Willie. That's right, Megan. I just need what I need. That's right, Megan. I just need what I need, right? So just know you can get this funding. Now, I want you to be ready to write grants. You have to be prepared. This is where too many organizations get it wrong. They see that grant application, they download it, they just want to apply. No, be grant ready. One way is to include some type of editing software on your computer. I love Grammarly. If you use Grammarly, give yourself some love in the chat. I love Grammarly. Why? It's a free software editing tool, free. You download it onto your computer. As you're writing your Word documents, it will self-correct. Now, why am I even talking about Grammarly? Why? Megan uses Grammarly. It's free, people. Download it, because you do not want to submit grant applications full of grammatical errors. No, you don't want to do that. And it's so easy to do. So download Grammarly. It's free. And then download this article, Improve Writing Skills Dramatically by Doing These 15 Things. It will help make you a better writer. Next, how do you prepare to apply for grants? You get your documents in order. Your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Now, do you all have your articles of incorporation? Are you a legitimate organization? Nonprofits especially, do you have your list of your board members? You know, it's mandated that you have a board of directors. For profits, if you have a board, get your list together. Get letters of support. Let the foundation know that there are organizations that support you. Who are they coming from? It could be the mayor. Drop those names. It could be the mayor, politicians, community leaders, your church, your pastor. And then if you are currently operating, you need a financial statement that includes your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Now, that's currently if you are operating. So everything I'm saying to you now is for nonprofits and businesses. Everything that I am teaching you now is for nonprofits and small businesses, everything. All right. Now, current operating budget. Don't be afraid when you see this term, because this is simply a budget where you're going to indicate how much money you think you're going to need, right, to operate your business over the course of a year. And you need some idea of these numbers, because they will also help you to determine how much grant money you need. All right, so current operating budget, get that together. Now, I'm going to go through really the typical components of a grant application and give you best practices so that you know how to write every single component so that you're placing your organization in the best possible position to get grant money. Let's start with the mission. It is critical. All of you must have a mission, even you small businesses. Not only does it define who you are and what you do, but it can lead you to the organization that wants to give you funding, because you need to align your mission to their mission. So if your organization is focused on K through 12 education, make sure that the foundation that you're seeking money from also has a passion for education. Look to their mission, see if there's an alignment there. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101 for you, because it is critical. Now, this next section is where you are going to separate yourself from the pack. It is how you describe your organization. I need for you to use one word. Think about this one word: impact. using real numbers. What has been the impact of your organization? It does not matter if you are a nonprofit or a small business. This is how you have to write the grant application in order to get funding. Let's say you have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed into shelters? When you place them, did they get their GED? Did they go back to school? Did they get a job? Were they in finally permanent housing? Track your success, people. Let's say you're a small business. You opened up that restaurant a month ago. How many people are you serving? Did you hire people? That's changing somebody's lives right there. You are contributing to the economic development of your community. If you open up that business, use real numbers. How many people do you serve? How many people do you hire? Maybe you haven't opened yet. Maybe you are a startup. You still need to write about impact using real numbers, because now you're going to talk about what you expect your impact will be, what you hope your impact will be. So maybe you have a tutoring organization. You want to tutor high school kids. You can write down that once those kids complete my tutoring program, I expect them to increase their reading scores by 5% because I have a reading tutorial program. So whether you're open or opening, you still must write about impact using real numbers. This is how foundations are giving grant money. No longer is it these feel goods. I want to help the world. I want to help end poverty. No, how? How are you helping? What have you done? What are your numbers? Track your success. And then when you write this application, you must write as if you are solving a problem. And it doesn't matter, again, if you are a small business or a nonprofit. This is where small businesses really get tripped up. You must write as if you are solving a problem. Why did you open? What was going on in the market that you said, I need to open a small business to address this? What? What? Did you open an online jewelry store and you need funding for it? Why? Do you make homemade jewelry? Maybe you don't see a lot of stores that offer homemade jewelry, or maybe you offer jewelry for sensitive skin. Maybe that was the problem you were solving. Maybe you wanted to open up a restaurant because you have recipes from your great great grandmother that from generations, and they are phenomenal, and you need to share them with the world. And there's not another restaurant nearby that would offer these opportunities or this kind of food. Right, as if you're resolving a problem or addressing an issue. A bakery wants to open downtown, needs a $20,000 grant. You might be thinking, what is the issue? Maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans really don't have a lot of great places, right, to buy baked goods. Or maybe it's all about economic development because where she's moving, nothing but blight, and she wants to contribute to the economy. Whatever the issue is that you're trying to address, it will lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money in that area. That's why you have to know how foundations fund and where they fund. You have to know. How do you find out? You go to their websites. The problem is 90% of foundations don't have a website. Most of the major ones do, though, but there are so many foundations, many of them don't. And then you have to get creative in finding how you are able to connect with them. And I have my own secrets developed over like 17 years. Also, the target population, this is where some of you get into trouble. I've been a business coach for 16 years, and when I ask clients, who do you help? Oftentimes I get, oh, Linda, I help everybody. If they come my way, I help them. You cannot help everybody. You should have one, maybe two target populations, and that is it. Because the more you try to pile on your shoulders, the more programs, the more target populations you help, you only end up diluting your results. You dilute your programs. You can only help so many people. You can't be one person serving 10 different target populations. One, maybe two, niche down. If you say you serve veterans, I'm going to ask you how. Disabled veterans that have PTSD, maybe they need mental health and wellness counseling. Homeless veterans, maybe they need transitional housing. Be specific. The more specific you are, the easier it will be for you to find grant money. All right? Now make a decision. Are you asking for operating grant money or program project grant money? Now, when you ask for operating grant money, that's fantastic if you can get it, because operating grant money pays for your administrative cost. You can pay for your salaries, your IT, your lease payments. It really allows you to shore up your infrastructure. But most grants are geared towards a particular program or project, which is fine. Let's take that bakery. Maybe she wants to start a delivery service. She's a for-profit. That could be a program or project. Maybe she wants to start providing cooking lessons to the community. That could be a program or a project. So decide one or the other per foundation. But here's something else that you need to know. Please, whatever you do, apply to multiple foundations. This is not a one and done industry. Now, you tell me why you think that's important. Tell me in the chat why you think it's important that you should be applying to multiple foundations. Why do you think that's important? Let me know in the chat. Let me hear from you in the chat. Why do you think you have to apply to multiple foundations? Remember, this is like a marathon. This is really not a sprint. So let me hear from you. Let me know in the chat why. Better chance of receiving funding, Janice, absolutely. Absolutely. Better chance of receiving funding. And here's another reason. Grants are not guaranteed. Don't let anybody tell you they can guarantee you grant money. This is how you get scammed. I see it all the time on social media. All the time. Right? On social media. Apply here. Everybody gets approved. Everybody gets grant money. It's called being scammed. So be careful. Now, let me say something to you about community partnerships. This part of the application you're going to need to complete. You're going to need to have community partners. They will only strengthen your application. Let's say you have an accounting firm and you give a tax talk at your local library. I think libraries are like criminally underutilized, by the way. You give a tax talk once a month. You're going to have a willing audience. The library is going to promote your tax talk. What does this have to do with grants? Because foundations don't expect you to work alone. And foundations are always looking to see who's doing what in their community. So you need to raise your level of visibility so that people in the community, especially foundations, know who you are and what you're doing, so that when you approach them, they may already know about you. Let me give you another example. Let's say you have a reentry program, reentry for ex-offenders, because you want to make sure that when people leave the criminal justice system and go back into society, they are successful. You tell me in the chat who you think they should be meeting with. Who should this person be meeting with that started this ex-offender program? Now, first of all, she has to meet with the inmates while they're in jail to interview them just to make sure they qualify for the program, right? So you tell me who she should be meeting with. Who should she be partnering with, excuse me, in her community? Here's a reentry program for ex-offenders. Tell me in the chat, who do you think she should be meeting? Let me know in the chat. Absolutely, 100 Black men. You know why? Because maybe they have mentors who can mentor this person, right? Do you want the ex-offenders to be homeless? Don't they need shelter? What about transitional housing facilities? Shouldn't she be meeting with them to make sure that they can be placed? What if they have addictions? Should she be meeting with maybe drug and alcohol or social service agencies? Make sure they get well. You want them to be successful members of the community. Do they need a job? What about workforce development agencies? Right, exactly, Desiree. Community colleges. So a lot of the community colleges have courses that ex-offenders can take so that they can gain their GED or college credits. And then businesses for jobs, absolutely. You don't want them to be jobless. And there are many organizations that provide jobs for ex-offenders. Right? See how we came up with maybe 4, 5, 6 organizations? So this is not difficult. This is what I want you all to do. Each one of you name 5 organizations that you're going to partner with in your community based on your program. That is your homework. Name 5 based on your program. And no, you don't need to have set up the partnerships before you submit the application. You can only write out the names in the application and indicate that you will be meeting with them to pursue partnerships, whether it's YWCA, Urban League, HBCUs, so many different organizations. Now we're on to the money. This is the grant budget. This is how you are going to expend the grant money. Whatever you do, itemize those expenses. If you need, maybe you need supplies. How many supplies do you need? Who is using the supplies? Maybe you're going to hire some staff. What are you paying them per hour? How many hours are they working a week? Be specific. And then the budget narrative is how you are going to describe your use of the funds. So the money goes into the budget, usually an Excel file, but your description of how you're using the money goes into the budget narrative. And here's a clue. I always include a budget narrative, whether it's asked for or not, because I want that foundation to know that I need to connect the money that I'm asking for back to the goal of the program and their mission. So make sure you include a budget narrative and a budget. Now, I know some of you on here are saying, Linda, this sounds good, but whew, I just don't have time. Like, I don't have time to write these grants. I don't have time. Well, let me tell you that AI will give you your time back. ChatGPT, you use it, you should be using it, will give you your time back. There's a way in which you use it. I'll talk about ChatGPT in just a moment. But also remember what I said at the beginning, that a lot of these grants are what, 2 and 3 pages. 2 and 3 pages. So you can do this. And for those of you that are still thinking like, oh, I don't know if I have any time, I have a question for you and everybody else, and I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Do you have time to get this free money? Let me know in the chat. Let me see if anybody has time to get free money. Oh, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes, I want free money. I'm saying yes, yes. I'm saying absolutely. So it sounds like, oh, I'm saying definitely. It sounds like you got time to get free money. All right. So what are you going to do? You're going to create some relationships. This is the slide here. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. You need to meet with the foundation first. This is often the deciding factor as to whether or not you get the grant money. Did you meet with the foundation? You need to meet with them. They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you their grant money. They want to know who you are. You should want to meet with them. You're trying to receive their grant money. And guess what? Oftentimes in this meeting, they will give you information that is not on their website. That is not on their website. All right. So yes, meet with that foundation. This becomes very important. And all other things being equal, who are they going to give the grant money to? The organization that they met with. I always think about one. I set up a 30-minute Zoom meeting with a client, afterwards $30,000 because the missions aligned. And yes, I said Zoom. Most of these meetings with you and the foundation will be over Zoom. Now, if you live in close proximity to the foundation, meet with them. Meet with them, absolutely. Other than that, Zoom meetings, 30-minute Zoom meetings. Now, how are you going to set up the meeting? You're going to send an email to the foundation representative, usually a program manager or a program director. In this email, you are going to connect your mission and your programming to where they fund, or your small business or your nonprofit to where they fund in this email, and you ask for a meeting. And what you're not going to do is ask for money in this email, because that is a surefire rejection letter. Do not ever ask for grant money in that email. You ask for a meeting. In the meeting, you ask for the money. Got it? That's very important. Now let's go find the money. This is how you conduct the grant research. Listen, people, Google is fine, But you need to go to a grants portal where all they do is provide information about grants. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the US. They're $50 a month to subscribe, or guess what? Free access at your local library, free. Grants.gov, they still have some federal grants. Lilly Foundation, do you have a church or a faith-based organization? Yes, you can get grant money, absolutely. Grant Watch, I love them because they give you the entire grant application, the synopsis, the link to the application, the contact information, the deadline, $20 a week to search their portal, or $200 for the whole year. Grant Station is $200 for the whole year. And I think they do the best job of really allowing you to hone in on what you're providing. Now, urbanawarenessusa.org, they are Black owned. Please sign up for their free newsletter. They're a great organization. Tell them Linda sent you. Now, I want to show you how you conduct grant research. This is using Grant Station. They're $200 for the whole year. Look to my right where it says areas of interest. Every block you see, there's like 15 or 20 drop-down blocks. So you really get to hone in. And then you get to choose, are you a nonprofit or you're interested in small business grants? Target populations, who are you serving? Veterans, African Americans, senior citizens, people who've aged out of foster care. You plug in this information and you get a list of grants. Now, let me say something to all of you about location, because I think many of you are leaving money on the table. Leaving money on the table. Start local. Start local. It's easier to get local grant money. Meet with your local community foundations. Meet with your local corporations providing grants. But don't disregard your national foundations, right? Because there could be a foundation in Texas giving money to you and you're in Tennessee. Look outside your state. And yes, this is for international organizations as well. You could live in the United States and be serving a population in Kenya and get grant money. You could live in Kenya and serve Kenya and get grant money. This is not just for US-based organizations when you do these searches. So, all right, so this is Grant Station. Choose one. Now, I have a list of grants. I won't go through them all, but I'm showing this to you so that you understand there are still grants still earmarked just for you. I won't go through them all, but the Annuity Freedom Grant. Do you have a nonprofit? Support Black charities. That's a list of grants that you want to apply for. Operation Hope, this John Hope Bryant, he is on a mission to help build 1 million Black businesses. He's at 400,000. Sign up if you have a Black business. LISC, they fly under the radar screen. They've given away over $1 billion to help communities of color. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 a month. Shea Moisture, they have a grant if you want to open up a Black hair care salon. Ford Foundation is strictly geared toward this. Justice Films is strictly geared towards those who are working on some type of documentary or film that highlights the African American experience. Look at Amarillo, it says small. You might be thinking, oh, Linda, this is really not for me. I'm too small. I'm teeny tiny. Amarillo, that's what they do, is focus on super small organizations. So yes, you could be a solopreneur and get grant money. Or look at the term all volunteer nonprofits. You don't need some huge organizational chart. You might be saying, Linda, I don't pay myself. I don't pay anyone. All volunteer nonprofits get grant money. And the startups. Are you a startup? Busy.com and Sky's the Limit, they both have grants. Now, let's go to banks. I want you to put into the chat, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks? Banks. Let me know. I see some great questions. Keep asking them. Loans, right? What else do you think about when you think about banks? Loans. What about high interest? Credit cards. You know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money in the United States. Yes, I said grant money. They give away hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm trying to show you that there are grants that exist beyond federal funding. And it doesn't have to be your bank. It could be a bank with maybe a good footprint in your community. Maybe they have a headquarters office or a regional office. I'm going to give you 4 hot leads right now. All of these banks provide grant money. Truist, TD Banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Yes, you'll have to meet with them. So let me say a couple of words to you about ChatGPT. If you're using it, fantastic, great. But please be careful. Never use it as a replacement. It's not a replacement for you understanding how to write grants. You're going to utilize what you've written. You're going to feed it into AI so that it can improve your application. Use it as a tool. It's not a replacement. It can edit, it can rewrite, but you have to know the basics of writing that grant application. Then you feed it into AI and let it work its magic. All right. So, but there's no substitute for you understanding how to write about your mission or your need or your target population. And this is where the bonus surprise comes in, because I have a course that can help you do just that. I've created a grant writing course to help you write about the grant. This is how I won $17 million. I put in a course, and your secret weapon is going to be me, because I'm going to serve as your grant coach. So the course teaches you how to write every part of the grant application. It teaches you how to conduct grant research. But here's where the coaching comes in. Let's say you meet with the foundation. Do you know what to say? Do you know how to say? Do you know what you never leave a foundation meeting without knowing? You come into our private Facebook group, which is phenomenal. It is a community for you. It exists to help you. And you let us know what's going on. You ask us questions. You let us know, Linda, I'm meeting with XYZ Foundation. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to bring with me. We will help you. We will guide you through that application, right? We will help you know what you need to do in that meeting. Or maybe you need to create your grant budget. Now, maybe you've taken the course, you know how to create a budget, but do you know what to ask for? Come into the Facebook group, let us know. We can help you to decide whether or not you should be getting operating money or program project money. The course includes 12 modules, 35 lessons, 30 videos. This is not some YouTube video course. This is a real course with real lessons. And this is so important because it helps you develop a grant template that you're going to use to start applying for grants. I was hired over the course of the past 17 years to build grant applications, to write the grant questions. I've utilized those questions in this course. It's like you are applying for an in-depth grant application, but now you have help. You have help all the way through it. I even have discussion starters ingrained in the lessons, but you're going to come to the Facebook group. You are going to get the help so that when you're done, you have a grant template. You use a template to start applying for grant after grant after grant. This is why it makes this whole process so much easier and faster. You are no longer trying to find out, should I be applying for this grant? Does this grant work? Is this for me? That guesswork is over with because you have a community now. You have me helping you. And yes, you get real grant examples so that you see what a proven grant looks like. You get to see what a real grant looks like. All right. And you get a list of over 600 organizations that provide grants. And I mentioned the private Facebook group. It is phenomenal. The students are dropping more grants than I am. It's phenomenal. And then an hour of group coaching every single month. You get group coaching, live group coaching with me. Make sure you're not stuck. Make sure you get some accountability. Now, I want you to look at the numbers here because they're important. You're only going to pay a fraction of this amount because it is my intent to make sure that this course is not another hurdle to keep you from getting grant money. I keep it super low. But I've had it audited 3 times. It's a $5,000 grant writing course. I have colleagues that charge $2,000 for their course. Mine is not $2,000, but the modules are worth $35.49. The videos are worth $5.99. The funding list is worth $500. The workbooks and planners and grant trackers are worth $350. Excuse me, but you're not paying the $5,000. You're not paying the $2,000. I keep it at a fraction so that you can use it because it is helping organizations like yours to get grant money. So yes, it's worth $5,000. That's why I keep it at $1,000 to give you a discount. Because of everything that's been happening this year, I keep it at $497 just to make it even more affordable. Because it is helping organizations to get grant money. Even now. Yes, Black organizations. But you hopped on the webinar. You could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock. You're going to get $200. You're going to get a $200 coupon to take off of the $497. So you're only going to pay $297. One payment, one and done, you are done. But because it's a special coupon and it's being given to you and you only, JULY02, this is for you and you only, right? Everybody on this webinar, just for the people on the webinar, JULY02 is what you need to take your payment from $497 to $297. And if you need a payment plan, you got one. It's $175 a month for 2 months. You still need a code because our regular payment plan is $275 a month. So use your code JULY02. Now you're going to put a little T on the end of it for 2 months, right? JULY02T. Now, at the bottom, you read right. The course never expires. I want you to come back to it again and again and again for help. So you get the course, the Facebook group, the coaching. Everything's tax deductible. Write it off. And you even get a certificate of completion. And by the way, I include templates. Remember I said you need to meet with the foundation, you get an email template. Remember I said you need to create partnerships, you get a partnership template. I give you a grant writing template. You want budget templates, we can give you budget templates. Many of you should be entertaining sponsorships. I have an entire sponsorship kit that you can use. I'm trying to make this easy for you. Because organizations that look like you are getting grant money through this course. So it's $297 or 2 payments of $175. You've got 3 days until until July 5th to get the discount. You have until Saturday to get the discount. Instead of paying $497, you pay $297. You use the code. You have the code until Saturday. Or if you want to make the 2 monthly payments, 2 times $175, use the code until Saturday. Now, this is how you buy the course. If you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat. Click the link. You'll see this page here. Pay the $297, but you're going to hit $497 and take off $200. So hit $497, hit purchase now. You will see this page. You have a coupon right there. And put your coupon, JULY02. It's going to take off $200. You're now paying $297. You see this little block here? That's a deep dive with me. That's a private VIP session, you and me. Oh, I get you together in that hour because before you and I even talk about grants, I'm going to go through your mission, your vision, your infrastructure, your target population, and your services. And then you leave with a little list of local and national grants, but you leave it perfect clarity. So if you have like 20 different ideas, you don't know which one, buy the VIP. You'll leave it perfect clarity. You can add it on to the $297. And we offer a firm afterpay in Klarna. We're trying to make this easy. So yes, you can divide the $297 over 4 payments. 4 payments, same as cash, no interest. This is to help you out. That's $75 a month, people. That's $75 a month to be in this community forever, 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 forever. Yes, forever. Getting the help that you need, but less than $300, right? So if you want to take advantage of the 4 payments, interest-free, when you include your coupon, it'll take off the $200. You'll be paying $297. You can add on the VIP coaching if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But when you go to pay, if you're looking for the payment links for the buy now, pay later, the format same as cash, look for Affirm, Klarna, or Afterpay. Now, you may have to hit a couple of boxes that say pay another way. You have to do that a couple of times, pay another way, until you get to Affirm, Klarna, or Afterpay. Or you don't have to, you can just pay once. Credit card, bank withdrawal statement, Cash App, Google Pay, or PayPal. All right? Try to keep it simple. Or maybe you don't want the one payment of $297. You want to divide it over 2 payments. You pay $175 a month. You click that button 2 times $275. That's what everybody else is paying. You have a coupon. Most people don't. So input your coupon. It will take out $100. What is your coupon? JULYT. I'm sorry, JULY02 with the little t. The little t is for 2 months. That's how you remember the code for the 2-month payment. JULY02 with the little t. Input it. There you are, $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can still add on the private coaching. For those of you who are ready, I have a 2-day boot camp. I teach you 2 months worth of work in 2 days. You will leave with a completed grant application that you are going to submit. It's 7 hours a day for 2 days. You have to be ready because you are going to work. And you leave with a completed grant application. You leave with a completed grant template that you're going to use to start applying for numerous grants. You leave with knowing how to use AI to write grants. I teach you. This is with me. This is a private session with me. You leave with a grant implementation plan. You leave with your partnership list. You get $11,000 worth of services and materials, and you get the course. Keisha took it. It was February 27th and 28th. 8 weeks later, she had a $100,000 grant. She had never written a grant before in her life. But keep in mind, you leave with a complete grant application. It's $1,997 or 2 payments of $1,249. It's for those who are ready. Now, these people here, they only bought the $300 course. $300 course. Nicola, June 2nd, $250,000. $250,000. She learned how to write grants. Let me tell you, the grant that she wrote was for $50,000 a year for 2 years. The application was so tight that people were like, wait a minute, we need for you to implement some more programming. Here's $250,000 to do so in the next 6 months. Right? You learn how to write the grant application and place yourself in a position to win this grant money. Whitney, $200,000. She did exactly what I'm asking you to do. She started local and then went national. $40,000 from the Southern Power Fund. That's a utility company. And by the way, utility companies have pretty deep grant pockets. And then she went to the National Birth Equity Collaborative. Kanisha, $100,000 a couple of months ago. A month ago, Kimberly, $84,000. These are for-profits and nonprofits mixed. Some are for-profits, some are nonprofits. You can do this. These are all people of color winning grants right now in the midst of all this craziness because they came into my community. They know exactly what to do and how to do it. Cherie, $11,000, right? A Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage Company won $20,000. A massage company. People, it doesn't matter what you do as long as it's legal. As long as what you're doing is legal, you can find organizations that want to give you funding. Christina, online educational consulting firm. You don't need a brick and mortar. She had never written a grant before. She was horrified. She said, I would not even have the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for the grant writing course. She applied. She won $10,000. Had never written a grant before. Here's your bonus. I'm gifting you my grant AI guide. I wrote a guide that will teach you how to use AI to write your grants faster and better. It's an introductory guide for all of you. I'm giving it to you for free when you buy the course because I want you to have this information. I don't want you thinking that you don't have time because AI will give you your time back. I include a video tutorial, take you through the whole guide so that you know exactly what you should be doing. And for those of you, if you buy the course by Saturday, the deadline, you get the U.S. Black Chambers Buy Black list. This is why you need to understand that there is still funding out here for you. They have a Buy Black list for small businesses and nonprofits, right? I'm giving it to you for free. This is the latest edition in May. If you buy today, you get this guide. I need you to know that there are grants for you, regardless of what you're seeing on TV or in the media. All right? Now, I'm going to stop sharing because we're done. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A time. But before we do the Q&A, before you leave, I need for you to do something for you. Not for me. Right now, I believe in manifestation. It's time to get these grants. Do you know that the grants have increased? The non-federal grants have increased. It is your time to go get them. So all of you right now, I need for you to manifest this. This is mindset right now into the chat. I want you to write, I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. Place yourself in this position. Look, I know about procrastination, right? It's time for you to get this grant money. So everybody right now, I believe in manifestation, write it out. I am ready to get grant. Yes, Janice, like claim this. Write this out. Megan, yes. I am ready to get grant money. All right. Now, I'm going to show you quickly live how to buy the course for those of you who want to know. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can do this quickly so that you can see exactly what you need to do. There we go. Really quickly here, just so you have the information. All right, if you click the link, I want to share my screen. If you click the link, you will come to this page here. You want to buy the $297 one and done, hit $497. I'm doing this live. You'll come to this page, enter your coupon, JULY02. Hit apply. You see it took off $200. You're only going to pay $297 for everything I talked about. You want the one-on-one private coaching, click the box. If not, that's okay. You remove it and put an email address. Now you're onto the payment. If you just want to pay with a credit card, fine. We take credit cards. We'll take PayPal. We take Cash Out Pay, Google Pay. But if you want to take advantage of the 4 months same as cash, how can you beat that? $75 a month. You may automatically see Affirm or Klarna or Afterpay, or you may have to click a little drop-down menu or click a box that says additional payment options, right? Because everything can't fit on the one screen. So you have to go to sometimes another screen. So you may have to hit additional payment options. Do that until you see Affirm or Afterpay or Klarna. All right. If you want to buy just from us the 2-month payment plan, 2 times $175, you can do that. Hit purchase now. Put in your coupon, right? JULY02 with the little T. It will take off $100 a month. Your payment plan is $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can still add on the $195. All right. I just wanted to do that so you would know how to buy the course. It's Q&A time. That's right, Willie. Write this down. I'm going to get grant money. Let me start at the top here and just answer the questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. What are the best sites to receive grants? I mentioned those to you. Foundation Directory Online, Grant Watch, Grant Station. Grant Station is really great. It's $200 for the whole year. Excuse me, the Foundation Directory Online is great. Now, the Foundation Directory Online will give you the names of organizations that provide grants, not the grants. So if you have an organization in Detroit, and let's say you help disabled veterans get into transitional housing, you input that information to FDL, it will give you a list of organizations that fund that type of a program. Now, places like grantwatch.com, they give you the actual grant opening. Grant Station will give you information about the grant. All right. So go back to that list and you'll see the ones that I created. Would letters of support help businesses? Absolutely. Is there a preference of real numbers over percentages? No. No, not really. No. Not in my experience. Not in my 17 years. No. Let's see. Other questions. Let's see. Do foundations usually offer opportunities to meet, or do you have to ask through cold calling? Typically, you go on their website and sometimes you complete an online application just to get into the system, but you always ask for that meeting. So you have to initiate that meeting. They're not going to initiate the meeting. You're the one after the grant funding. You have to initiate the meeting. So you need to do the email. Complete the email. Send them the email that will link your missions and your programming, right? All right. Other questions. Are grant funds counted as business income for tax purposes? Yes. Absolutely. If you are a business, you are going to get taxed on that grant money. Yes. Now, of course, if you are a 501c3 nonprofit, that's a different story. You're a nonprofit. You don't pay taxes. But if you are a business, yes, it is counted as business income. Can you talk more about the difference between operating and program money? I assume program would include some operational cost. They're going to include costs that you need to operate your program, but you need to be clear about your use of those funds for that program, right? So operating money, you can put operating money anywhere. If you want to use operating money to pay for your program, you can, because you decide where to put operating grant money. But a lot of operating money is to help with your overall organization, your infrastructure, to shore up your capacity building. So you get to pay for your administrative fees, right? Your administrative cost, salaries, IT, creating a website. About 32% of foundations give general operating support. Is really to help you build up your organization. Your programming expenses are expenses that you use to operate your program. So yes, some of those expenses, some of them could also be part of your operating expenses, but you have to be careful. So for example, you can use money because a lot of people are always worried about whether or not they're going to get paid and whether or not as the executive director they can get paid through grant money. There's several ways that you can pay yourself with grant funding. Let's say you have that program. You're the executive director. Let's say you're the owner, you're the operator, you're the manager of that program. You can pay yourself a stipend to help operate the program out of programming money. You can also get an operating grant that would help pay your salary or your fee to help run the entire organization. You can use operating money for that. Is that clear? So one is really to pay your administrative expenses. The other is going to be costs that are directly related to whatever that program or that project is. All right. So if you have business insurance on your company, that's an operating expense. But maybe you have a program where you need some type of medical insurance, or you need some type of insurance because maybe you function out in the wilderness. Maybe you have one of those exploration programs and you need insurance because you're taking people out into the wilderness. That's directly related to your program. Got it? All right. Can you resubmit a grant request if it's turned down? Is there a certain time period you have to wait? Absolutely. Always, always, always resubmit the grant. Not only are you going to resubmit the grant, you're going to ask why you didn't get it. Always ask why you didn't get the grant. It will only help strengthen your application for the next time. Meet with the foundation, ask them why you didn't get it. Many times they will tell you where there were weaknesses in your application, and you utilize that to build on it to create a better application the next time. And you have to wait a year. You have to wait a year after you apply to apply again, right? Typically, that's normal, unless they tell you otherwise. Unless they tell you otherwise, typically it's a year. But you can find out this information when you're meeting with them or when you're asking them questions. Sometimes they will allow you to apply earlier, Depends on the foundation. Every foundation is different, but I can tell you in general, you wait a year. All right. All right. Let me just see if there are any other questions. You have until Saturday to get the additional $200 off. Yes. You have until Saturday. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Ah, other questions. Let me just take a look here. And see if there are any other questions. There's still time. There's still time to ask questions, just so you know. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. There's still time. All right. I believe we are done. Okay. I think any grants now for new organizations teaching? What do you mean by that? Any grants now for new organizations teaching? So there are startup grants. There are always startup grants, right? There are startup grants. There are startup grants. So that may be what you're referring to. I believe so. But yes, I gave you two, busy.com and sky's the limit. Teaching is a huge area. So what is it that you're teaching? Is more about what you're teaching. What is the area that you're teaching? It depends on what it is that you're teaching. That's the term new organization. I don't know what that means. So if that means that you are a new organization, you are a startup, there are grants for startups. ESL, Spanish, and AI, absolutely, there's grant money in that area, but you have to be specific, right? So if you're in the area of education, you can search for grants in a number of categories. And I'm going to use that as an example. So she's teaching AI, she's teaching ESL, she's teaching, what is the other one? Spanish. How is it that you're teaching in what? Do you have an organization? Do you have a nonprofit or a small business where you are teaching? Is that where you're teaching? So if that's the case, okay, so a nonprofit, now you're going to be looking for grants that are geared for nonprofits in the teaching area of AI. So you can be looking for multiple grants. There should be multiple areas where you're seeking grant money. You could be seeking grant money, for example, as a teacher, strictly in education, because there are programs that are here to pay educators, right, for teaching, but you're also teaching AI. So now you're going to look for grants that are geared towards organizations that are working in AI. So that's another opportunity for you to get a grant. You said English as a second language. There, you should be looking for grants in that particular category. So you can search for grants across those categories. Look for AI grants. Look for grants regarding ESL. Look for grants regarding the other category, right? So you should be looking for multiple grants through multiple categories, all within this area of education, right? All right. So I believe that is it. Yes, yes, yes. I want to thank everybody for hopping on. I hope to see you all. I hope to see you all before the deadline, July 5th, right? Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Be encouraged. Don't be encouraged by what you're seeing on TV or in the news. There are grants that are available. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. And thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on. And for those of you, if you're interested in the course, it will be available at this special discount right up until July 5th. So like let July 4th be your Independence Day from you paying all this money out of your pocket for your organization or for your for-profit or for your nonprofit. And be encouraged and just keep moving forward. And thank you so much for hopping on. And if you buy the course, remember you get the bonuses. And if you, when you go into the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you for a synopsis about your organization. When you give me that synopsis, I'm going to be able to help you and give you some links as to where you can start searching for grants. All right, my name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals. And thank you so much. I appreciate your work that you're doing. And just keep moving forward. And hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.